Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. First of all, pardon my voice. Been sick for the past week. Took a trip to Jamaica for a week. So it's been a couple of weeks since I made a video. Okay. Uh, I did see the fight last night. And let me tell you, I love when a cherry pick goes wrong. That's like my favorite thing in boxing. We've been getting a lot of upsets this year, but this was a legit cherry pick. We got some upsets, but this was a complete cherry pick. And very, very worried because as much as I like to see an underdog come in and beat the guy that is the heavy favorite and stuff, this would have totally ruined some other fights. Just like we had with AJ and Andy Ruiz, even though Ruiz is an elite heavyweight. Even before that fight, he's a top guy at the heavyweight division. Otto Wallin is not. Okay, so this would have been a huge, huge upset if this guy was to beat Tyson Fury last night. Um, but with all that being said, I think Wallin was definitely Tyson Fury, without a doubt, was underestimating his opponent. Okay, going into this fight, I think if you just could tell by Fury's body language in the first couple of rounds, mainly up until he got the cut, I think he wasn't. I think he was taking it really easy. Even when he fought Tom Schwartz, you notice in the second round, from the time that the bell rung, that Fury wanted to knock this guy out. In this fight, Fury seemed to be taking it very, very easy in this fight. He wasn't as light on his feet. He wasn't as defensively aware. Okay. And he just wasn't, he was just fighting real casual in there. He was fighting a guy like he was toying around a little bit, you know. And I think if Tyson Fury knew that he had to take this fight extremely seriously, and we would have had a different outcome. But Wallin was very durable. I think he had a good game plan. Okay, um, it's not that it's not always. First of all, he's better than what we thought. Obviously, he's better than what I thought he was going to be. All right, because it wasn't. Let's be honest. It's not a lot of footage on the internet with him. Okay, and he didn't fight anyone that good. Um, but going into this fight and watching what he was doing in the ring, it's not always about the fighter himself. If they have a good game plan, all right, and you execute your game plan, you could fight well against anyone. What he was doing was working. All right, it wasn't just about the cut. All right, in those first 6 rounds before he tired out, I like the fact that he was coming in. He was doing a lot of Sean Porter type of tactics. He was coming in low. Okay, he wasn't just head hunting. He was going to the body a lot. He was doing a lot of straight shots to the chest. Okay, so whenever he did land up top, he just wasn't expecting it. He was giving him a lot of different looks. Fury is not used to dealing with that. Okay, as far as points, if we're just talking points and punches landed, I like what Wallin was doing against Fury than any other Tyson Fury opponent that I've seen. All right, as far as points, round by round points, I thought Wallin he was getting hit. Of course, Fury was connecting and landing shots too, but as far as what his game plan was, it's similar to like Wilder against. I always bring up this fight, which is one of my personal favorite fights of Wilder, when Wilder fought Spilka. Spilka is not an elite heavyweight, all right? But what he was doing against Wilder was perfect against Wilder. It wouldn't work against everybody else. Like we already knew he got stopped by Jennings. He got stopped in other fights after the Wilder fights. We already knew that. But what he did with Wilder, what he was doing with Wilder, changing directions, giving him all these different looks, changing levels. He was just making Wilder miss over and over again. He was making Wilder lunge, and it made Wilder look like he couldn't box in that fight. All right, and I feel like what Wallin was doing in this fight against Fury was somewhat similar. Even though Fury was connecting and he was still boxing well, Wallin was hitting Fury more than we normally see Fury get hit, because Fury Fury is one of the better defensive fighters in the heavyweight division. He is. So when we see him get hit that much, and then see him get hit with a left hand, and it opens up nasty, nasty cut so early in the fight, we're like, holy shit. Wow. I don't know what you guys scored it. I scored it 116, 112. I thought the first judge had it right. The other two had it 117, 111. I think one had it 118, one something. But I thought I had it. I think Wallin. I gave him 3 of the first 6 rounds, and I thought it was debatable. Even then, I think some of those rounds were really close. And after that, he tired out. Fury won a lot of rounds after that, and I think I gave Wallin the last round. So I gave him 4 rounds. All right, 4 to 8. So I scored it around 160, 112. But I think that yeah, man, I think his strategy was great. He was fighting like he was fighting to win the fight. I don't know how he would do against the other top heavyweights, but I think against Fury, what he was doing round by round, we know that Wilder knocked him down twice. We know that he fought Klitschko. We know that Fury fought Chisora a couple times, got knocked down by Cunningham, stuff like that. But I think on a point, as far as points are concerned, I think Otto Wallin was doing better than everybody else. He was actually one of Fury's toughest opponents ever. I mean, Wallin did much better than Vladimir Klitschko did. Let's be honest. And once Fury got the cut, I think when the cut happened, Fury started fighting with more pressure. Okay, but at first he looked mentally. He kept complaining to the ref about things. Wallin was fighting a little dirty, some dirty tactics, some head rubbing in there. We saw he was trying to dumb Fury at the end of that round. We saw a few things that Wallin, I mentioned Sean Porter early. The way Wallin was coming in, he was very rough. He's coming in low. He was getting close. He's being very physical with Fury. Sometimes, listen, you're not the favorite to win. You got to do whatever you have to do to win the fight. Okay, what's this guy that fought Pacquiao and everybody felt, uh, who's the guy? I can't think of it. Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn. You fighting Manny Pacquiao. You're not going to go in there and just try to box with Pacquiao. You're not going to win that fight. He went in there and fought. He made Pacquiao uncomfortable. He used his size. This guy is fighting at 160 now. Jeff Horn has been fighting at 160. This is a big dude that just fought Pacquiao at 147, fought Crawford at 147. Now he's fighting at 160. So this is a big dude. So Otto Wallin went in there to make the fight, try to win whatever way he could. He was trying to win that fight. I think if he didn't get tired, that fight would have been a toss-up. Because after 6 rounds, to me, the fight was a toss-up. And let me tell you something. I was listening to Bruce Vane. Shout out to Bruce Vane Boxing. I was listening to his channel, and he made a video about it this morning. And I agree with him. And I agree with Terrence Crawford. If that would have been anybody else, the fight would have been stopped. If Otto Wallin had got cut, all right, if he had gotten cut, and they stopped the fight because of the cut, all right, they would have stopped the fight because of the cut. That's what I'm trying to say. They would have stopped the fight. Because Fury, if he stopped the fight with Fury at that time, you don't know where it's going to go. Because those were competitive rounds, those first 6 rounds. I thought that cut was bad enough to stop the fight. Obviously, Fury was going on to continue. He win the fight. That's cool. He blew away Wallin in the second half of the fight. Wallin just didn't have the energy no more. Fury was landing bigger shots. And because of Wallin being, he was tying up. He was doing a good job tying up whenever he got hurt. He was leaning on the ropes. There was times that Wallin looked like he was about to go down. But he tied up Fury. He hung on the ropes. He did whatever he had to do to survive. All right. So he did play some good survival tactics. He didn't get knocked down. But it was a good fight. And Fury had to end up fighting a fight that he did not want to fight. He had to fight a very physical inside game. He had to come in and be throwing these uppercuts. He was in there going for the knockout. He was fighting in there like he was going to lose the fight. Fury was fighting like he was down on points. and it made it a great fight. It was a little messy. It was a little messy. You know, when I say great, I mean it was great because we weren't expecting a competitive fight. You know, but it was an ugly fight. It was an ugly fight. It was a lot of holding involved, and you know, a lot of complaining. Fury was doing a lot of complaining. He wasn't comfortable. It just was. It was a very ugly fight. And let me tell you something. I was very scared for Fury because after he got that cut, mentally, he didn't look right. He didn't look right. And I was like, I was hoping this guy won't break down because this guy, he's boxing, he's doing shakes, straight shots, ducking under him, you know, defensive. Otto Wallin was pretty damn good. He was pretty good. Like I said, I don't know how he would look against the other opponents, but I like when a fighter has a good game plan. It's not about, you might not be as skillful, you might not be as talented, but if you have a good game plan, which he did, um, and the fact that he was physical with Fury and made the fight, you know. Um, but that's it, you know. Fury at this point recover, you know. You know that scar, that cut is a really really bad cut. Wallen, I would like to. I'm definitely gonna look out for him in the future. But Fury, you know, hopefully has Wilder next in February. You know, I know there's been a lot about Wilder saying about stepping aside and all that stuff. You know, I don't know how that's gonna work. You know, if the outcome of Joshua and Ruiz is the same. And I do have to make videos talking about that because the press conference was this past week. You know, the fight is official now, official. I got to talk about Derek Chisora, Joseph Parker too. That mess, I seen all of that. That was pretty funny. But yo, Tyson Fury, you know, listen, don't keep cherry picking, man, because you mess around, lose to a fighter. Yo, that fight could have easily gone a different way. It could have easily gone a different way, man. You gotta be careful. These guys gotta be careful with they're careful with their cherry picks, you know, because shit like this can happen. It can get real quick. So, fun fight. I gotta do a video on Devin Haney too. Look out for that. I'm gonna definitely speak on him and Lomachenko. But listen, that's all I gotta really say. It was a good fight. But Tyson Fury still did his thing. And I'll definitely be on the lookout for Otto Wallin, you know. I like to see how he looks against other top heavyweights, you know, maybe not like the top 5 or the top 10, but at least the top 20 guy. If he could do that with Fury, I'm interested to see what he could do against everybody else. All right. He was definitely better than Tom Swartz. Okay. All right. So that's my thoughts on the fight. Make sure you guys subscribe and be on the lookout. More videos on the way. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.